Anyway, you're going to have a real treat tonight. You're going to have a wide range of poetry laid out before you. It's going to be like practicing for the sort of Christmas biscuit tin or chocolates that you get at that major event that's going to come up next month. And so, yeah, you work out whether you want the nutty ones, the sweet ones, the soft ones. I'm delighted to welcome our first guest tonight. T. Francis and I first met in Boscombe Library at a course run by another of our guests tonight, the venerable, wonderful Mr. Matt West. Matthew, wave, gives a wave there. Now, this is a first name check. If you're looking to grow in poetry, explore about poetry, find out about gigs, all sorts, Matthew's the man. He does an amazing job across Hampshire and Dorset through Artful Scribe that work with developing writers. So T and I met on that course, and the rest is history. She is a therapeutic poetry writing facilitator. She's done a sort of very big and very demanding course on that. We cheered her on through that. She's a part of our band, Lines and Squares, the poetry band that does festivals. The very first time she came, I think, did poetry in public, she came with us, Paul Canon and I, we went to Petersfield, and she wowed them and took all the risks. Her first pamphlet came out this year, Sherbet Lemon, I hope she'll wave it, and I want you to give a very big welcome to T. Francis!
Yeah, that was quite a big Petersfield. I didn't realise what a Tory stronghold it was when I read my ode to Jeremy Hunt. But I survived, so that's good. Okay, I broke my arm quite badly this summer, and it was like a mixed blessing. It meant I had lots of time to read books. I had all these brilliant ideas for poems, I couldn't write any of them down. And I spent far too much time on social media. Thank you. And this poem came about as a result of an interaction I had with a holidaymaker who posted on the Charmouth Village notice board page. It's about seagulls, which are a bit Marmite, but I felt I had to defend them. So this is called Rats with Wings. They should be bloody shot. Bloody rats with wings, he posted. The beach at Lyme's not safe anymore. She's only 2, terrified to death she was, and half her pasty swiped. How long before a serious incident? My fingers were swift to defend. They typed, I think her diet's more alarming. Deleted. What do you expect? Also backspaced. I opted for, it's nature. Enjoy it, smiley face. Do you have children? He demanded. Did you ban them from eating on the beach? I said, food encouraged seagull raids. Perhaps eat under cover or in a cafe. I didn't say teach your children tolerance instead, or perhaps, eat under cover or in a cafe. Didn't say that. Or okay, let's just decimate a whole effing species so your entitled family can eat a pasty in safety. Hypothetical, my response. After questioning my parenting skills and seagull defence, he deleted the thread, saying I was toxic and seagulls should be dead. Okay. When I was about 7, I was invited round to a friend's house for tea after school, and she lived in a posh area. And it was the first time I'd ever been to someone else's house for tea. And it was a bit of a revelation for several reasons. Number one, I didn't realise that not every household had half a mini gearbox on their kitchen table, or that food and clothing didn't stay permanently on the floor. And also, it was interesting in that I was able to eat and no one got hit, which was quite unusual. Anyway, I made a complete pig of myself. I just stuffed my face with everything there. So it's one of my first embarrassing moments. This is tea at Rosemary's. She devoured the food on the plate, buttered her hunger, thickly spread under viscid jewels on homemade bread. Berries stirred plump in a syrupy pan, poured in love to waiting jars, with cervical membrane set. She could taste the kneading, could feast on flowered hands that patted babes of yeast for sleeping, laid down in tin cots, soothing, snuggled under muslin cloth, moved to warmth for proving. A fourth slice and a butter curl, folded and creamy as a newborn's fist. Jam fell on porcelain, like domes of garnet blood beads oozing from a small grazed knee that was never kissed. Sensing fragrant season's mist, she savoured the taste of their velvet summer, suckled another mother's flavour, slow wiped sweetness from her lips. Thank you. A few months ago, I was asked to co-host an event in Bridport. It was part of a series of events to commemorate having the loan of a Turner painting. And I was really excited, and I thought, crap, I don't have any poems about the sea, artists, or ways of seeing. So this was playing on my mind, and I had a dream, but it was about another Turner painting. It was the Fighting Temeraire, which was a ship that fought in the Battle of Trafalgar, and Turner painted this ship being towed by paddle steamers to be dismantled for scrap. So I woke up with this dream and I started to write, but it very soon turned into a poem about my father, which was a big surprise because I haven't finished writing about my mother yet. So this is called Portrait. I can't paint landscapes. I push words into faces, the folds in your skin, wrap verse around the shape of your lack, tensile jaw, taut fists. When colour seeps on your hair or a grin, when lightning strikes ochre and carmine, I stoke blood and umber, fuse thunder with my pen, stab your throat with the nib of my fury, colour you black again. Your fault, my compromised palette. Once I was equipped to paint the world, but stripped of viridian and gold, I mix metaphors instead. Take a palette knife to memory, heaving with vermilion, but here you lie, refusing to move, soiling my canvas in black ink or blue, craquelure from hands stained with bitumen. I plumb the depths, my parka unlidded. In time I might succumb, write you warm, glint your eye with indigo, not drowning yellow in a sea of scotch. Cry ink into eyes that should have wept, botch a tracheotomy with my pen, breathe life into your waterlogged lungs. But it's not safe while clocks refuse to slip Dali-esque. I drain power from your shadow, snuff light from your visage, paint your lips pale, blue and thin, stitch and tar them with a sailor's kiss. Salt your words from ear to ego, post-mortem in cursive, I separate body parts, revoke your tongue, keel-haul your arse in spite, my pen, my art. There may come a time, my varnish worn thin, where I colour the odd kindness, the storm-filled night you spent by my side, open palms remembered, safe berths to anchor in. Kind words dredged from a seabed layer, but for now, I tow you on a line of ink, dismembered for scrap, my father, the drunk Temeraire. Thank you. I couldn't leave without having one about my mother. It's not fair. This is called Parts. When I was 5, I collided with the edge of a metal door, gashed my forehead, required stitches. On removal, the nurse placed them in a vial with a lilac-covered lid. Spider-black threads stuck to fragments of skin. I asked to keep them, took them home. Being brave was easy in hospital. The nurse smiled, said I was so. When I was 10, I found milk teeth in my mother's jewellery box, a hard enamel-coloured case that snapped, open and shut on a zealous hinge. 2 sets, my brother's teeth mixed with mine, smiled jointly without consent. When I was 52, my dentist levered my upper right 6. It resisted. My dribbling mouth forced wide. It sensed enough parts had been lifted. Thank you. Bit of a dental theme going on tonight. It's quite often the case that children who are abused quite often grow up to have relationships in which they are also abused. This poem is about domestic violence. It's called Shark Bait, and I promise it will get a bit more jolly in a minute. Shark Bait. The lipstick was her mistake. Red lips gasped for attention. Torn petals on a turbulent sea, mouthed silently for breath. He directed her knife as she cut and spread crimson meat on curling bread. His smiling mouth unstrung from eyes that pierced the blue like a dorsal fin slices through the pause before death. She replaced the knife, offered her soul on a plate in sacrifice to the shark god hooked on jugular blood. She felt the tug on her wretched life, waited for her lungs to flood. Thank you. Okay, I was in a pub, not a pub regularly, but I was having coffee and I happened to be sat next to a fruit machine, and I've never really paid much attention to them before, but it struck me how sexualised they are, the pictures on them and the wording. So this is called Slots. He saw her in the corner of the bar, swaggered over, the silverback with the pint of lager hanging from his palm. She always welcomed him back. A quickie could do no harm. She lit up for him, put on a show. Her cherries were ripe for plucking, his low-slung denim pocket bulging. A chance, up close and personal, primal stance his sweaty hands were groping. She knew how to tease, how to reel him in. He knew which buttons to press. No caress, a smash and grab braid, but she was playing hard to get. She knew he'd just been paid. Desperate now, he thrust in his hard-earned gold. Felt fully alive, heady with fruit. Hold, stimulation overdrive, ready for the cash shot. He was gonna loot the jackpot. Cherries were gonna flow. He would plunder all her charms. He would thrust his hands below, feel her come in his cupped palms. Okay, statistically speaking, 52% of you might like this poem and 48% but I think it's only fair that I go with the will of the people. I'm in my villa or Iwella drinking lager, not sangria. I'm an expat and proud of that, basking on the Costa Blanca. No paella, I'm a fella that likes steak, my cake and eat it. Speak the lingo? Why, with bingo, karaoke, bowls and cricket. That foreign shit, have none of it. We don't like integrating. We've banished all the Spanish, find their culture irritating. We're British! Let me finish. Those Spaniards should be grateful. We built over Fengirola. We put food upon their table. In my man cave, in this enclave, I watch Top Gear on repeat. Trying to shake off British Bake Off, but I gotta keep Babs sweet. It's no longer chipping-onga, but with satellite TV, it feels like home without the gaze or need to be PC. We've got PG tips and cheddar, but it's better. We've got sunshine. Eat al fresco, miss our Tesco, but there's gammon, chips and cheap wine. We've retired here, got free healthcare, English shops in Alicante. No hijab wearing foreigners or Poles in every taxi. Brown as leather, never better, all the people are our sort. voted Brexit because we're scared shit that they'll overrun our ports. I'm not racist, but let's face it, we need to take control back from those bureaucrats in Brussels and make the bloody lot pack. Hypocrisy. Democracy. We want our country out. The irony is lost on me. What are you on about? I'm sick of this. Get on with it. Make Britain great again. Let's have order. Close the borders. Me, I'll stay in Spain. My last poem tonight. But anyone would like to buy a copy of Sherbet Lemons, no pressure or anything, but it does mean I can buy cat biscuits tomorrow. Oh, they're very thin. Now, I think it's quite serious to talk about mental health, and I have to confess that I have an addiction, which is slightly unusual, but still I think it's good to get these things out in the open. So if any of you are affected by anything in this poem and would like to come and see me afterwards, that's great. I'm thinking of starting a support group. Okay. It's called Forbidden Pleasure. I have a dirty secret. Well, actually, it's clean. I do something in the bathroom which some might deem obscene. I do it in your bathroom too if conditions were conducive. I've tried to get help for this, but support groups prove elusive. The act itself is not lewd, it's the fact it gives me pleasure. So the scale of my depravity is really hard to measure. I take a household item freely sold throughout the nation and purposely employ it for my self-gratification. No, it's not a shower attachment, Deb, but apparently that's quite nice as well, allegedly. You see, I engage in oral sex. That's oral with a U, and do things with a cotton bud you really should not do. My ear holes are not waxy, but when in the vicinity of a stash of pure white cotton buds, I lose my ear virginity. I feel like Pavlov's dog on heat, not turned on by a bell. A tub of Johnson's cotton buds is my erotic hell. Before I know what's happening, I'm clasping in my fingers a 3-inch wand that's heading for my auditory meters. Just Google ears and cotton buds. You'll see I'm not alone in abusing this erogenous, neglected, sensual zone. It's such a simple pleasure. Can it really be a sin if your Q-tips are hygienic and disposed of in the bin? Now, I feel such shame indulging in auricular stimulation, and it's not something I'd introduce in bedtime conversation. We've tried bondage, fruit, outdoor pursuits, spray cream, but I feel it's a step too far to ask him if he'd lick my anti-helix, or tantalise my tragus with a feather or a finger to whisper in my ear canal, my concha, or my pinna. But now, a word of caution, and I hope I make this clear. Manufacturers forbid you to put buds inside your ear, but if you cannot help yourself and share in my depravity, if you spend time with Q-tips swirling round your oral cavity, don't do it multitasking. Keep your safety to the fore. Don't do it dashing down the stairs to answer the front door. There is a risk of danger which may add a certain frisson. Too much penetration and you'll perforate your eardrum. Don't let children see you. Make sure the door is closed. Don't try another orifice, especially not your nose. And think of the environment. The situation's drastic. So friends, if you must do this, please avoid those made with plastic.
So yes, you can see why Petersfield didn't know what hit it that night. But it's just been onwards and upwards. Tia's shared stages with all sorts of folks. If you live in the sort of west side of Dorset, or fancy going down to Bridport and that sort of way, do have a word with Tia, not just to buy her sherbet lemons, which is great, but also to talk about apothecary and some of the great stuff that's happening there.